Now, as an emergency management professional who's consulted with some of these bad guys, I can tell you that I have many sleepless nights where I feel like I'm spiritually caving in under pressure, and we've walked away from business because it's just bad news. It's just
well, you know what?
News.
That's a good reason to have you here then. We're about to go to break, but when we come back, specifically, because you're in the middle of this and your company works with the FBI and FEMA and many others, tell us specifically then from kind of the inside and your little quadrant of this compartmentalized system, what you're seeing and what's happening. And I certainly understand your concern. It's just that when you research more about Theodore Kaczynski, L.A. Times, he was CIA. I believe he did run off the reservation and was actually real, though. He was so freaked out by the elite's plans that he did some things he shouldn't have. Now, Tim McVeigh's another story. That was run by one of the so-called liberal anti-racist groups. It was done to crack down on the American people.
And now you wear your skin.
So, Kevin, tell us what it is that's upsetting you when you talk about these forces that want to give us these injections, and your concern is the conflagration that could come as they try to do it. And you say it's not forthcoming. You're right. They keep lying, saying, we're not coming to give you shots. We're just getting ready to forcibly inject you. So there is a lot of their classic deception where they deny what they're doing even as it's happening. But, I mean, specifically, what is it in emergency management that's concerning you?
So, we're going to step back from the H1N1 inoculation program just for a second here and talk about the broader landscape when it comes to emergency management in the private sector. And the first thing that really upsets me about this, Alex, is that it is a completely monopolized system where the private sector companies, in America, free enterprise and the notion of being able to set up and run your own small business is one of the rights that is why we love our country.
Yeah, so it's a no-bid contract.
Right. So what happens here is all your data gets into a truck to a company called Iron Mountain. That if you do some research or look at our website, we have a detailed report on what's called the history of business continuity.
I was behind an Iron Mountain truck today.
Yeah, so you see them all over the place, right? And the first, you know that Iron Mountain was built initially by the CIA and Sun Oil Company, and the big disaster recovery company that stepped into backing up everybody's computer files and having all of your private information backed up and on tape or now today on disk and virtually able to pop these machines on very quickly, is owned and run by a company, or at least was founded and run by a company that manages 98% of all the computing systems for all the trades that happen at NASDAQ and Wall Street. And what does that tell you about the relationship between big money and your privacy?
Well, you know what's funny? I knew Iron Mountain was data systems. Do you know Iron Mountain is a secret government report that decades later was confirmed to be accurate, where they have a world government to carry out eugenics against the population. And then now we have a public Iron Mountain report written by the White House science czar, and we have all these other documents. They're really doing this. And so that's why we're saying this whole flu thing, even if they don't launch a pandemic now, we're not saying that's happening. They're saying it's going to happen. That this is to set the precedent for total federalization, the United States under UN control, and all of this hysteria is going to happen right when they're trying to ram through federal health care. So the excuse will be, if we had more federal power over health care, we could have helped you.
Right, and so on the monopolization of emergency management and first responders, any small company like mine that sets out to tell the truth and publishes a paper in our thinking section like the history of business continuity and disaster recovery that clearly outlines how your personal data from wherever you work, from McDonald's to McDonnell Douglas, is being trucked off in these little trucks so that after whatever nefarious thing goes down, and we can talk about that a lot more because it's a multi-pronged Rube Goldberg construction
Well, listen, Mr. Burton, it's clear that what you said was taken out of context, but you can understand why folks were upset. I want to schedule you for a full hour in the near future. Okay, the website is thinkbam.com. Thank you so much. We'll get it updated on the story so you don't get these hundreds of mean emails. And again,
oh no, check out that blog too, because
but sir, there's breaking news. That's the only problem. We've been predicting false flags against Obama in the name of demonizing the protesters. It's now happened. Raw story, protesters seen with gun outside Obama Town Hall. We'll have key analysis on this coming up after the break. Sir, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
God bless your listeners. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I want to talk to you as we do more shows about the flu and emergency management and really pick your brain. So maybe it's for a good cause that you ended up, saying something that sounded bad, and then later I've done the same thing before. So I understand it's kind of a peer pressure thing. You're in an atmosphere with people. You're extrapolating out what a crisis could be. You're trying to get some business contracts, and you say things you don't agree with later. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is huge. Protesters seen with gun outside Obama Town Hall. We'll play the video, cover it all. This is to hype it up and make him the victim. I told you last week, this week you're going to see stuff. Now they're going to bust some meth head. You watch. I told you. You watch. We'll be right back. Stay with us.